Hey guys, Gerald Hall here with RhinoShield, and I'm joined today by my good friend Mike Moore, and we're going to talk today about energy efficiency and RhinoShield and how it can add some energy efficiency to your home. Our RhinoShield dealers talk to tens of thousands of homeowners every year, and there's a lot of commonly asked questions about RhinoShield and how it can impact the energy efficiency of your home, and we're going to talk about those in this short video today. So when we talk about energy efficiency, what are the major components of an energy efficient home?
Sure, energy efficiency is very important to all builders and homeowners now, and almost everything in the home can contribute to that. It could be the attic insulation, it could be the SEER value of your HVAC, it could be the insulation of your windows, but paint or good coatings can have an effect on that. It's the largest surface area of your home is your walls.
Right, so when you talk about the insulation of roofs and walls, that could be external insulation in the form of a coating, right?
Absolutely.
So Mike, when we talk about coatings having insulating properties, how do you achieve that with coatings?
Sure, and a lot of people don't expect their paint to add any insulation, but
Sure.
a good coating can do that. And typically there's two ways that you're going to do it. One is going to be reflectivity. That's a type of pigments that you would put in it. Some colorants you can manufacture that are more reflectant than other colorants.
So reflectivity, that's, when the sun's beating down on your house, it's blocking or reflecting those rays away from it?
Right, especially if you can reflect the infrared rays, because that's generally what provides most of the heat gain.
Okay.
The other way that you can do it is by your solids package. Some materials conduct thermal energy and others conduct it less. So we try to use things like ceramics that conduct heat less than what you would find in a typical paint.
Right, so RhinoShield, which has an R value equivalent or an insulating value equivalent of 6.89, it comes from a couple of key things. Solar reflectivity, how much of those solar rays we bounce off, and then the ingredients that are in there. You mentioned the ceramic microspheres manufactured by 3M, that the amount of solids that are in the product.
Well, they just have a lower thermal conductivity than clay or mineral fillers that are found in a typical paint.
So Mike, we have another way to quantify the insulating properties of RhinoShield, and that's an R value equivalent test. Tell me about that.
Well, most people, if you ask the consumers if they know anything about insulation, they'll refer to an R value, and you see that with
Sure.
wall insulation.
The pink rolls at the big box store, right?
Exactly, and that doesn't always correlate to paint. So what you do is you have to do an R value equivalent. So we had a materials engineer compare with infrared heat, RhinoShield versus various levels of wall insulation. And then he calculated that the RhinoShield system would add insulation equivalent of about 6.89 R value, which is equivalent of almost 2 inches of wall insulation, of like Owens Corning fiberglass wall insulation.
How do you measure solar reflectivity?
Well, there is a test for solar reflectivity, and then there's a bigger calculation called a solar reflective index.
Okay.
That's getting popular in the building industry. You could use it for your roof shingles, you could use it for your paint. Basically, how reflective is that building material? And in general, you want the scale to be like 0 would be tar, 100 would be bright white paint.
Okay.
And in our case, we test at 107. So we're almost off the chart because we're more reflective than a typical white paint.
Again, because of the ingredients that we put in, the high quality zinc oxide, the ceramics, and all of the ingredients that go into RhinoShield give it a 106 or 107, excuse me, solar reflectivity index. Okay, Mike, so we talked about solar reflectivity, we talked about R value, and those are a lot of big words and a lot of scientific terms. Let's talk about a practical application of a coating that has an insulating property on the outside of your home. You guys conducted a thermal study recently.
So what we did is we built a wall with cement board siding, which is a popular building product. Half the wall is painted with just a typical gray exterior latex paint. The other is painted with RhinoShield, exact same color.
Yep.
Okay, and then we put it in the Florida sun, and we just see on the front side which side gets hotter, and the RhinoShield wall stayed cooler. But more importantly, we measured the back side. So it's one thing to keep the face cooler, but it's more important that that heat doesn't go through the building material
through that cement
into
board
the house.
Right.
And we were almost 30 degrees cooler on the back side of that cement siding. So it shows that we don't just reflect it, we stop that heat from coming into the house.
Yeah. So Mike, when we talk about insulating values of the walls, we also, RhinoShield has a product called Super Shield, which is an insulating coating for roofs, and that was included in the imaging survey you guys did, correct?
Exactly. So you take a roof, half of it is just as the roof is, the other half we coat with the Super Shield ceramic coating, and then we just measure the temperature
Again,
in the middle of the day.
In the Florida sun.
And we had a 25-degree temperature difference, and that'll make a big difference on a roof.
Yeah, you know, I tell people all the time, you know, whether it's 25 degrees cooler on the roof or, you know, 30 degrees cooler on the exterior wall, I can't tell you how much it's going to save you on your energy bill because every home is different. But I can tell you intuitively, if your roof and walls are cooler, then your HVAC system is going to have to work a little less than it normally would, right?
Exactly.
Right. Hey, Mike, thanks for joining me today to talk about RhinoShield and energy efficiency. Hope you guys learned something today. We appreciate you taking time out here with us. Take care.